Street.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It does give me some pleasure to rise to speak to this bill, and I too congratulate the Minister for bringing it forward. I think there is a malaise abroad, Mr. Speaker, that the incident on Facebook with young men and their behaviour has brought to everybody's consciousness in New Zealand recently. The malaise can be addressed by law, but only in part. So there are a lot of other things that need to happen. The way we bring up our children, the way we train people to be parents, the kind of alertness there is in the classroom to abuse and to violence. All of the kinds of social exchanges where children are moments that we should protect with more effort than we currently do, in my view. We need to train our children to think differently, to behave differently, and this is especially difficult when the role models they have are no role models at all. But as far as we're concerned in this House, there is something we can do, and it is in legislation. But as I say, it's only one part of the fix. But I'm pleased to support it. This is what we do here. We pass laws. And this is one that deserves support and closer investigation. Mr. Speaker, I'm been reading the regulatory impact statement on this, and one of the things that they have said, the officials have said in their regulatory impact statement, is that child pornography offenders, they say, have particular characteristics that set them apart from other offenders, and they are almost universally male. Their occupations vary widely. They often distribute child pornography in order to access the collections of others. But due to the diverse nature of the offenders, it's not always possible to make useful comparisons. However, the majority have no criminal history. And most child pornography offenders plead guilty and readily acknowledge their involvement with this material. And these mitigating factors tend to end up with a reduced sentence. All of those things need to be taken into account when we are determining either the increase of punishment or the level of punishment that should apply. I worry all the time, Mr. Speaker, that every time Parliament tries to pass a piece of legislation that deals with modern technology, the horse has bolted. And in fact, there's another horse that we haven't even thought about, just about ready to bolt. So I hope that in the course of the debate in the Select Committee, which I look forward to participating in, we can canvass some of the issues and make this both as broad and as specific as it needs to be in order to address the harm that is trying to be addressed through the bill. One other point I wish to make, Mr. Speaker, is the business of the change in the Attorney General's function and seeking the Attorney General's permission to prosecute. And clearly that has been done in the past, and in fact DIA and Customs and Police, who are accustomed to bringing prosecutions in this area, have had to, with the exception of Customs, have had to seek the Attorney General's permission. What I understand from my first look at this legislation is that that is being altered to apply only to private prosecutions. And if that is the case, that's fine. If certainly there are safeguards that needed to be protected where there are private prosecutions being brought, so that nobody can bring a vexatious or a frivolous or a damaging prosecution without reason. But where agents of the state are bringing a prosecution, then I think they have now developed enough expertise over time to be able to do that without the Attorney General's explicit permission. And they have some internal checks and balances, I think, Mr. Speaker, that allow them to make sure that they are not overreaching themselves in that respect either. Mr. Speaker, I look forward, as I say, to good, thoughtful submissions on this. I'm sure we will get others as well, but I look forward to the good, thoughtful ones, and I commend it to the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any further speakers? I call Claire Curran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.